Hi there, this is Aubrey Chauke. I'm a tutor for accounting, business studies, EMS, as well as research. If you're watching this, you're definitely at the right place. Please don't forget to hit that subscribe button on your bottom right. And once you're done with that, you can definitely make sure that you leave your comments on the comment section. And once you're done with that, you can definitely make sure that you also tell your friends to watch this video, to like this video, and to also subscribe to this channel. And this will help us to be able to grow as an online learning community. If you're in Hammarskrall, I'm pleased to let you know that Y Education SA is hosting some contact lessons that are taking place at Tusanang Daycare Center next to Mabuatlo Primary School. And all you have to do to become part of us is to pay a once-off fee of 100 Rand. And from there, you'll be expected to pay 250 per subject per month. So if you want to become part of us, on your first month, you're going to be paying 100 Rand of registration plus 500 of the 2 subjects that you would have chosen. If you want to join us, you can get in touch with us by using the contact details that will appear right on the screen. If you want me to become your online tutor, I'm pleased to let you know that Chauke Tutorials is hosting some online lessons that are taking place on a daily basis. And all you have to do to become part of us is to choose a subscription that is suitable for you, pay it, and then request your lesson. Once you are done with that, we will be able to give you the lesson of your choice. On online lessons, we only have 3 packages that are available, and you can choose any of the packages that I'm going to mention. Package number 1, it's only 350 per month, and you'll be getting 2 online lessons that are recorded as they occur. So you pay 350 per month, you get 2 online lessons per week, which are recorded as they occur. Package number 2, it's only 250 per month, and you'll be getting 1 online lesson that is recorded as it occurs, plus 1 pre-recorded lesson per week. Package number 3, it's only 150, and you'll be getting 1 online lesson that is recorded as it occurs per week. If you feel like online lessons are expensive for you, I'm pleased to let you know that we also have got contact lessons that are also taking place on a weekly basis. And if any of these options that I'm going to mention are suitable for you, please choose it, pay it, and get in touch with us so that we can be able to make your academic problems a thing of the past. On package number 1, it's only 450, and you get 2 contact lessons per week. Package number 2 is only 350 per month, and you get 1 contact lesson per week. Hi, welcome to our new lesson. In this lesson, we're going to be focusing on how to calculate the correct gross profit. The reason why I've decided to do this question is because I noticed that most students are struggling with this question, and I thought, you know what, it would be very important for us to go through the calculation of the correct gross profit. I also noticed that most learners are confused by what we call debtors allowance or sales returns. They don't know how that will affect the gross profit calculation. So I thought, you know what, let me do this calculation and help our learners. So let's go straight into the lesson. Here you are given the income statement, and you are supposed to complete it within 35 minutes. If you look at this, you realize that they're saying you need to be done in 35 minutes. One of the things that you need to master as accounting students is that you must master the management of time. And this question was actually worth 45 marks. Most of the income statement in grade 10 are actually worth 45 marks. So that's most of the marks that you can get from this. In the exam, it's around 55 marks, but it will also depend on how the setting was done. So please make sure that you practice your structure also, so that you can be able to know what to include in your income statement. But keep in mind, in this lesson, we're just focusing on how to calculate the correct gross profit. So with that out of the way, let's get into the calculations. So the first thing that you want to start with is you want to always start by inserting the opening balances that you are given from the trial balance. It's going to make your work easy. Each and every time when you start with such questions, make sure that you start by the balances that are there on the trial balance, because most of them you might need to adjust them. So it will save you time to start by writing items that are firstly in the trial balance. And remember, when you do the income statement, you first start with the you actually start by entering the items that are in the nominal section. Most students have a problem of also including the things that are in the balance sheet section, which is not supposed to be part of our income statement. Okay, so keep that in mind. Know what to include in the income statement and also what to include in the balance sheet. Do not mix. If you do that, you're going to get a negative marking of about 1 mark or 2 marks for putting foreign items in your income statement. So please avoid doing that. So let's start with what we given. Remember, when you calculate gross profit, you say sales minus cost of sales, right? But we need to adjust our sales and our cost of sales so that we can be able to get the correct gross profit. So let's start by writing down our sales amount. So our sales according to this is 1,280,000. So when you do your calculation for calculating gross profit, let me use a blue pen. When you calculate your gross profit, you need to be very careful. So you firstly need your sales, right? You're going to need your sales. So you start by entering your sales and put it in the bracket so that you can show whether it's going to be reduced or increased. Okay, so let's get into that. Let's check what is our sales amount. According to the information that we're given, the sales amount is 1,280,000. So we're going to enter that as our 1,280,000 for sales, and then automatically you should know that debtors allowance should be subtracted from the sales, from the figures that you're given in the income statement. So you can just enter that part. Okay, so we'll then subtract the debtors allowance that is available in the income statement, which is 12,400. Okay, so we have that 12,400, and then you also write your cost of sales. Your cost of sales here is 640,000. So you're going to write cost of sales as 640,000. For just writing these amounts that you're given, you are going to get a mark. So please make sure that you start by entering these transactions that we're given. So let's check in the adjustments to see if there's any debtors allowance that we need to consider or any sales returns, and it's actually the first transaction here. If you go through other transactions, you'll realize that there's nothing that will affect our sales and debtors allowance beside the first transaction. So here they're saying that no entry was made for a credit note issued to a debtor. Remember, when we issue a credit note, it means that somebody returned goods. Okay, so you need to keep in mind that debtors allowance or a credit note is issued when somebody brings goods back to the business, and this should be a situation whereby this person has bought on credit. Okay, so remember, this person was a debtor, so if they bring back goods, it means that they will no longer owe us. So this transaction will affect, the first part will affect two accounts. The first one is our debtors control. So our debtors control will then be credited because it is going to decrease, and then the next item that's going to be affected is our debtors allowance. Okay, and then that's the part that we are interested in, and this will be affected by the selling price. And then remember also the cost price will also affect our movement of stock. So it means that because somebody is bringing back goods, we will need to also update our cost of sales. So it means that cost of sales must be credited, because remember, we recorded that we incurred costs of selling those goods, but then now somebody has brought back those goods, so we need to then reduce also our cost of sales, because it's going to go down by the cost of the goods that were brought back by that customer. And then we'll also need to do some recording in our trading stock. Remember, here the debtors allowance will be debited, and then we'll also need to update our trading stock that is in the records, but then I'm not gonna focus on that. So the trading stock in this case is going to be debited. I'm interested in the part of cost of sales and also debtors allowance. So because I said that debtors allowance is going to be debited, it means that our debtors allowance will actually increase. So this 3,000 will have to be deducted also from the sales figure that we are given in the income statement. So we're going to say minus 3,000 of that selling price of the goods that were brought back. Okay, and then from there it will give us our net sales, and then we'll be good to calculate the net sales that we have. So we'll do the calculation after. Later on in the session, I will show you the part where we actually have to calculate the trading stock deficit or surplus, and then take it into consideration the goods that were brought back. So let's also do that. If you look at this, they are saying that we also the cost of goods that we returned is 2,000. So this will affect the cost of goods sold. Remember, we recorded that our cost of sales increased when we were selling, but right now that person brought back the goods. Okay, so it means that our cost of sales will reduce because those goods are coming back. So we are actually reversing what we did when we recorded that the cost of sales went up. So now it has to decrease by this 2,000 because the customer is bringing back those goods. So our cost of sales must be also updated. Okay, so if we're updating sales because there's a debtors allowance, we must also update the cost of sales, but this will depend on the system that you are using. If you are using perpetual inventory system, you'll update both the sales and the cost of sales, but in periodic will only update only the sales. But that's not your stuff for now. I think it's grade 12 11 accounting. So let's now just focus on the part where we have to update also our cost of sales. So cost of sales will also have to be reduced. Okay, so we'll say minus 2,000, and then you will be done with that part. And then you must remember that your cost of sales must always be in brackets. Most accounting students do the mistake of not indicating that cost of sales is supposed to be subtracted, which is very wrong, and they end up losing marks. So let's just update that very quickly. So if we say for our correct sales, if we say 1,280,000 and then we subtract 12,400, and then we also subtract that 3,000, then we'll be given the correct net sales. Okay, so our net sales will be 1,264,600. So be careful of that. So it's 1,264,600. Let me just confirm if the calculation is correct. 1,264,600. So that calculation is fine. So let's also do the other part. When we go to cost of sales, we're going to say 640,000. Then we say minus that 2,000 of the stock that was brought back, and then it will tell us that our cost of sales that has been updated is 638,000. So you'll have 638,000 here. Okay, and then from there you will then be able to calculate the correct gross profit. And then when they mark, they are going to mark 1, 2, 3 and then 4. So meaning that sales, the calculations for sales will be around 4 marks, and then for this one it will be 3 marks. So you need to be careful. You see, we're already talking about 8 marks on the first part. So very important for you to make sure that you understand how to do this. Let's look at the final calculation. So it will be, remember, our net sales is 1,264,600. So 1,264,600, and then minus, let's just confirm, minus 638,000 will give us the correct net the correct gross profit. So our gross profit from this calculation will be 626,600. Okay, then we'll be done with this calculation. So remember, each and every time when you are given what we call the gross profit calculations, you need to also make sure that you show how that part will influence your calculations. Okay, will influence your total accounts for sales, cost of sales. So this is how we were actually supposed to get the gross profit. So you can see that it looks complicated, but it's not really that complicated. If you need help with preparing for your examinations, please use the details that I'm currently displaying on the screen to get in touch with me, and I'll be more than happy to help you. In the meantime, make sure that you invite your friends to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Leave some comments there. If there's any area that you want us to improve, let us know so that we can be able to improve. With that out of the way, may God richly bless you. Shalom.